Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to brand new video. Arsenal have now accumulated 27 wins in a Premier League season. That is a record high. That is even more than the Invincibles did in the season where they went unbeaten. But we could fail to win the trophy, and this is the reason. Arsenal are going to need over 200 more million to catch up with Mancity, but let alone to actually stay at the same stage and at the same level of quality as Manchester City. These are the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 1, Manchester United 0. I loved the performance from Man United. I loved the fact that we won without getting out of third gear, but I think Arsenal are still lacking in more ways than one. And Mikel Arteta can say it, and everyone can say that this team is going to need another set of reinforcements for us to go again next campaign and again and again and again. And maybe that is what Liverpool have not done, and that's why they have one title in 6-7 years of fighting against Manchester City. If you're going to fight against them, you're actually going to have to spend almost each and every summer. I'll tell you something. Arsenal have won 27 games this season, right? Potentially 28 if we beat Everton. But in the seasons where Man City have been champions, they have been winning at an average of 29 games. Can you imagine? They've been winning an average of 29 games out of 38 per Premier League campaign. That is absolutely insane. Like, really insane. So if you're going to catch up with this well-oiled machine, we've got to be well-oiled machines as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's dive into the five things we learned from Arsenal 1, Man United now. And for me, the first thing is that you've got to spend money to catch Manchester City. And for me, I'm saying it's got to be 200 million. I think the likes of Gyökeres, the likes of Isak, the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, all these players that we're talking about, they're a necessity. We've got to go out there and, sign players that are difference makers, but also sign players that can be part of this project for many, many years. I looked at, I think it was Saturday when Pep Guardiola was talking about the Man City squad, and he said we have players for the future and we are also still going to invest a lot of money in the squad. That is what you want to do if you want to be at the top and you want to stay at the top as well. Honestly, Man City are not affected by pressure. Honestly, Man City are not affected by injuries. If you look at the top 6 sides this season in the Premier League, Man City have suffered 17 injuries. Arsenal have suffered around 27 injuries. Man United 37 injuries, Tottenham Hotspur, I think 45 injuries, and Chelsea 54 injuries. So the reason as to why Man City don't suffer a lot of injuries, despite the fact that they have played at the epitome of every competition, they have gone to the finals of the FA Cup, they have gone to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, and they played 38 competitive games in the Premier League. If we want to call the games competitive, the reason as to why they've had that is they rotate players as much as possible. They have played 2 players at left back, that is Josko Gvardiol, who by the way is 80 million, and they played Nathan Ake, who is for me a 60 million, 70 million signing at the moment, if you want to rate him. Then they've had Diaz at centre back, Akanji at centre back, and John Stones at centre back. They played Nico Lewis, an academy graduate at right back, as well as Kai Walker. So the ability to rotate through a squad like that, like Akanji and Diaz, compared to Gvardiol and Stones, there's no difference there. Like, you can play Gvardiol and Stones for 10 games and you don't concede a single Premier League goal. So if Arsenal want that, you've got to go out there in the market and spend like you've never spent before, and spend money like this is the first time for you to go out there in the transfer market. I still remember, I think it was 2-3 summers ago when Man City brought in Jack Grealish. Now they have a Jeremy Doku, and it seems like they are going to get rid of, Calvin Phillips, who, by the way, they don't use. They're going to get rid of, Matthias Nunes, and they're going to reinvest into new players. So I think Arsenal need a lot of work. We've got a lot of work to do when it comes to this Manchester City side. I don't think Arsenal or Mikel Arteta is to blame for not winning the league this campaign. Honestly, I want to be fair. It is not the blame of Arsenal or Manchester or Mikel Arteta. It is Man City. They're just too good. If you want to go against them, You've got to go out there and spend almost each and every summer. That is what Liverpool failed to do, and that is why they have one title in 7 years. For me, the second point, it's now over to Tottenham. Because David Moyes, as a manager, we respect you. And we think that you are one of the Premier League's greatest managers of all time. At West Ham, at Manchester United, where things didn't go well, and at Everton, where you created a very big name and you actually became one of the gods in the Premier League. But this Manchester City side is beyond you. So we are not thinking about West Ham. We are not thinking about West Ham stopping City at the City ground, at the Etihad. They cannot do it. So it's over to Tottenham Hotspur now. If either Spurs pick up a draw or win this game, then it's up to Arsenal. However, if Spurs don't win, if Spurs lose, it's over. It's purely over. You told me to wait until Tuesday. I'm waiting until Tuesday to officially say it's over. We tried our best. It was a good run. We're going to score over 90 plus goals. We're going to win over 28 goals, and we're going to win around 16 out of 18 Premier League games. Can you believe that? Like 16 out of 18 Premier League games in the second run. That includes Mancity, that includes Aston Villa, that includes Liverpool, that includes Tottenham, that includes Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, and yet Arsenal are not going to win the league, despite the fact that we have had a 16 win run out of 18 games. So it's over to Tottenham. Can they do it? I have a full video of that. Apologizing to you guys for taking away your hopes so early. So make sure you do watch that game, that video. And of course, we were reacting to the comments of Ange Postecoglou, who thinks they stand a chance against Tottenham, against Man City. So for me, it's over to Tottenham right now. If they can do a job against City, then it's okay. Man City have not scored a single goal at their new stadium. If it stays like that, if they can keep that record, which is highly unlikely, but if they do, then Arsenal are on their way. Definitely. It's back in our hands. Point number 3, Trossard and Kai are underrated, but they could win Arsenal the Premier League. Under the circumstances where we signed Trossard, Mikhailo Modric, an 80 million signing, was our top priority. He was the player we wanted. He was the guy that Arsenal were dying for. And Chelsea said, this is where we hijack this deal. This is the deal for us to hijack. This is going to be the signing of centuries. Mikhailo Modric this season has averaged around 2 goals and 3 assists maybe. Leandro Trossard has scored 5 goals and assisted twice in his last 7 games. Those are 7 contributions in 7 games. Most underrated finisher at the club, most underrated player in the Premier League for me, Leandro Trossard. But the real apology goes to Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz stand up against Tottenham. Kai Havertz stand up against Chelsea. Kai Havertz stand up against Man United. Kai Havertz stand up against Liverpool. He's been turning up in games that matter. He's been turning up in games that we could look back to and say, this is the performance that gave Arsenal the league. This is the performance that gave Arsenal the title. So both of these two are really underrated, but they could win us the league. They could be the reason that Arsenal win the league because they've been clutch, they've been important, and they've turned up when the rest of the team, caught some cold feet. That's one thing I've loved about Kai. That's one thing I've loved about Leandro Trossard. They've turned up. And with Leo, special flowers. He's a special player. We'll do a special video for Leandro Trossard. Whether we win the league or not, we'll do a special video for Leandro Trossard. Because for me, I've always thought Arsenal should try that guy. Of course, he's 28, 29. But I've always thought Arsenal should try that guy when he was at Brighton. And Arsenal going for him as a second option, it doesn't really bring out the fact that he's one of the best players at this Arsenal side. It doesn't bring out that he's one of the coolest finishers, clinical players at this Arsenal side. I wish we have 12 Trossards. I wish we have more Trossards in this team. Because for me, you look at Saka's chances yesterday. You've got to bury one of those. You've got to bury 2 of those chances. Inside, by the way, 8 minutes. Arsenal could have been 3-0 up. But Saka going to shoot when he has to lay it off, and trying to lay it off when he's got to shoot, right? The problem I have with Saka and Odegaard and Ben White is they want to create moves on the right hand side and finish them themselves. You've got to look on the left hand side. You've got a much better finisher than Saka, Odegaard, and White in Trossard on the left hand side, and Gabriel Martinelli, by the way, he's more clinical than any of those guys on the right hand side. But honestly, Trossard deserves his flowers. Kai deserves his flowers as well. I think both of them have been remarkable for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal this season. Point number 4, destroy teams when you can. And for me, this is more like a cold reaction to that game. I don't know why Arsenal didn't try to go for it. I don't know why Arsenal didn't try to blow away Man United. I think psychologically, we cared about the game than in terms of quality, than in terms of display, and also than in terms of what Arsenal can do to this Man United side. Now, this is not only to Manchester United. I look at Brighton. Man City decimated Brighton. They treated Brighton and De Zerbi like trash. And this season, Brighton have been trash. But when it comes to Arsenal, we suddenly don't want to destroy teams. We suddenly want to, leave something. We want to leave some stones unturned. That is a problem. You're not going to write a real marker on teams if you cannot blow them out of water. You've got to blow teams out of proportion for them to fear you and for them to give you the respect they give to Man City. Look at City. When clubs are playing against City, they don't even try because they know they're going against a team that can beat you 9-0, 7-0, 4-0, 6-0. So they don't even try. They come to avoid humiliation. But when teams play against Arsenal, it kind of feels like, they play like we have a chance. We can have a go at them. We have a chance. Honestly, Man United don't have anything close to Arsenal this season. Nottingham Forest don't have anything close to Arsenal this season. Luton don't have anything close to Arsenal this season. But these are the games where Arsenal should have bettered even better our goal difference, which is already better. Luton, that should have been 4. Man United, that should have been 4. Brighton, that should have been 5. Which other games did we create a lot of chances that we didn't score goals? Bournemouth, that should have been 4-5, right? So the goal difference that Man City have managed to catch up, with us is not because City have been scoring a lot of goals. They've been scoring 4-5, 4-5. And Arsenal have been scoring 2-3, 2-3, 4. So the difference is that City come in games to destroy when they can. Arsenal come to score 1 or 2 and feel comfortable. You're never going to believe yourself, in yourself as a juggernaut of a side if you cannot do that. You're not going to beat Bayern 5-0 if you cannot beat Luton 5-0 at the Emirates, especially at home. And I want to speak this from an Arsenal point of view. We need to do better at the Emirates. I love the fact that we keep a lot of clean sheets away from home. Like I've lost count of how many clean sheets we've kept out from home. A clean sheet at the Etihad, a clean sheet at the Old Trafford, a clean sheet here and there. But you've got to do much better at home. This title, if ever we lost it at home. And if we ever win this title, it's going to be because of our away performances vis-a-vis of our home performances. So destroy teams when you can, because that is going to help you, become a much better team in terms of confidence and also in terms of being feared in the league. And lastly, this is our best season ever, and yet we are not going to win the Premier League. 90 plus goals, 27 plus wins, and we are not going to win the Premier League. There are a few points that I've picked from the comment box below of the previous video I did, and that's why I put up this point. Initially, I wanted to praise Manchester United, and I wanted to give them some credit. But then I said, since it's an Arsenal fan channel, let's talk about the season, because it's another thing we've learned from this game. We've won games, but not all of them have been comfortable. We've won games, but not all of them have been historically in our favor. Like the Old Trafford win, in the last 16 times we've gone there, now 17, we've won 2 times, drawn 5, and lost 10. So that shows you that that's a ground Arsenal don't go to expecting to win. That is a ground that Arsenal don't go to expecting a result. And yet we went there and effortlessly walked away with points. We effortlessly walked away with with a result. So this has been by far our best season. Don't talk to me about the Invincibles. They didn't win 27 games. They didn't even get the number of points we are gonna get, right? Oh, they got 90. We won't get to 90. So they got 90. They got more points. But we have scored more goals than those guys. We have won more games than the Invincibles. So for Mikel Arteta to go from a manager without a CV, because he doesn't have one, he was hired without a CV, and he's so lucky to be in this job. But for him to go from a manager who doesn't have a CV to a manager that betters what the Invincibles did, even if he gets sacked right now, even if he decides to hang up his boots right now, Bayern will be on his door, Madrid will be on his door, Barcelona will be on this door, Man United and Man City will be on his door. He's done brilliantly, disgustingly, very well. This season is history. And he talked about it in his press conference. He said, this is not progress. 27 wins. When Arsenal have never done that, this is history. And this season is absolute history. So those are some of the big points I picked up from the weekend. I hope you guys are in agreement with me. If you're not, you can actually let me know in the comment box below. But the highlight of that campaign and of this campaign and of this game is that for us to be able to chase Man City, with whatever we can, we've got to go out there and spend more money, even if it means selling some of the good players we have already to reinvest, even if it means that, we've got to spend a little bit ridiculous on some ridiculous signings. I think we've got to do it, and it is reasonable and it's justifiable. See you soon.